These are 9 of the biggest plot holes in SML, with the first one being Marvin having multiple ages. Let me explain by starting with the most recent time we've seen his age. In SML movie Marvin's Birthday, it's confirmed he's turning 40 years old, but we don't even know if that's true because in SML movie Jeffy's driver's license, if you pause at just the right moment, you can see it says Mario, the SML house, Pensacola, Florida, and June 1st, 1983 is his birthday, which if you do the math would actually make him 41 years old, which doesn't make any sense because if we go off of when Marvin's birthday was uploaded, which was November 22nd, that means that the date is completely off and doesn't match in the slightest. But it gets even more confusing because in SML movie Bowser Jr.'s Clown Car, Jr. and Bowser look through their old yearbooks, and here we see that Mario and Bowser were in the class of 85. The age of graduation is typically 17 or 18 in America, and since he was born in November, he was 18 when he graduated. So his birth year is 1967, making Mario 57 years old. But that's not it, because he actually has a 4th age if we go off of the actual Mario character's birthday, which is October 11th, 1992, which would make him 32 years old. So I guess we'll never know which one it actually is. But my theory is that Logan probably just forgot about the Jeffy's driver's license video, especially because his date of birth was literally shown for like 1 frame, and it isn't even brought up anywhere else in the video. So the new Marvin's birthday video that was posted to the SML channel is probably his real age, meaning that he's 40 years old. But this plot hole isn't nearly as weird as Marvin not being able to afford his house payment, yet he can afford super nice things. We've seen for so many years now Marvin fail time after time to pay his house payment. Like in SML movie Mario Sells Jeffy, where he literally sells Jeffy just to get out of paying his house payment.
No matter how much money you offer us, we would never say yes to that.
$10 million.
Yes!
Mario!
Baby!
Mr. Goodman.
And you would think that Mario would barely be able to live because of this, but that's not actually the case because first of all, he has a Chevrolet Camaro, which on average is about $40,000, which is not cheap in the slightest. He also canonically is a Nintendo mascot, like we see in videos like SML movie Nintendo Switch. And because he's literally the face of Nintendo, he would be paid millions upon millions of dollars. And if you're still not convinced, just think of all the times he had to bail out Black Yoshi from jail, set up job interviews for him, or even buy him every Call of Duty game and console under the sun, which would obviously cost him thousands of dollars. But he does it like it's absolutely nothing. Maybe you could make the argument that Mario wasn't actually poor when he was a Nintendo plushie, and he just didn't want to pay his house payment. But what about when he turned into a human puppet? Because we know damn well that Marvin could never keep a job, and even when he tried multiple times, he could never keep one long term without getting fired, which makes me even more confused because in SML movie Jeffy's swimming pool, this happens when they're trying to pay for their pool.
Okay, baby, can you grab the plot convenient money that we don't tell Goodman about?
Okay, Marvin. Here you go.
Seriously, where is bro getting this money from? I have 2 theories about this. Either he learned from Black Yoshi and is now collecting welfare and just not telling Goodman about it, or he has a secret career that we just don't know about. This plot hole could easily be brushed off. However, the same can't be said for Chef Pee-Pee's cooking. We all know that his cooking is the furthest thing from edible. Or is it? Because in SML movie Chef Pee-Pee's restaurant, at first we see him making the absolutely disgusting food we all know and love. However, later on in the video, he opens up an actual restaurant out of his own kitchen and suddenly he starts cooking like Gordon Ramsay. Like, this is actually food I would like to eat.
Got you some fried chicken.
Oh man, you already know what it is, bruh.
This isn't even the last time we see him make something like this though, because in SML movie Jeffy Almost Drowns, we see him cook a meal literally fit for a king. And this is where he says he can actually cook, but he never tries because he doesn't get paid. But if he can cook something like this, I'd argue he's one of the best chefs in the world.
This looks amazing!
I know, thank you.
What are you doing?
What, is it not supposed to look good?
No, my wife's inviting her ex-boyfriend over for dinner.
He could pretty easily just go and open his own restaurant. Or if he doesn't have the money to do that, he could easily just go work at a Michelin star restaurant because his cooking is just that good. And we kind of see him do this in SML movie Junior's 11th birthday. Day, where we learned the only thing stopping him from having good cooking is Bowser, which still doesn't make any sense because he could just call the police for kidnapping, and Bowser would probably be put in prison for the rest of his life.
Check this out. Chef Pee-Pee owns a 5-star restaurant. It's called A Taste of Pee-Pee.
What, Chef Pee-Pee owns a 5-star restaurant, but his cooking sucks.
Not anymore. Since he doesn't have to babysit you, Chef Pee-Pee has become a professional chef.
But while this one actually has somewhat of an explanation, we could never explain Joseph being rich and poor at the same time. For years now, we've known Joseph as the poor kid who's literally homeless and can't even afford to drink water or even have lights on. But we see in Jeffy's internet lag that he actually has a PS5, which goes for like $500. And in the very same scene, we see in the background that he's sitting on a couch, which means he has a house now for some reason. And if you're still not convinced, then just look at the first few seconds of Junior Save's TikTok. Joseph literally has an iPhone 16 Pro Max, which goes for at the very cheapest $1,100. This isn't even the biggest thing though, because there's a whole video dedicated to Joseph being rich, called Joseph the Millionaire, which pretty much just tears apart Joseph's entire character by making him live in a mansion, have a butler, and even about 5 bedrooms. In this video, he pretty much just acts like a younger version of Goodman, but after all of the backlash this video got, Logan deemed this as not canon, and we haven't seen this plot develop since then. So what is it, Logan? Is Joseph rich or poor? But whatever happened to Cody's allergies and medical disorders, which seemingly kind of just disappeared? Because in SML movie Precious's Pillow Fort, Cody says that he's having an allergic reaction to the cat.
Junior, hold on.
What's wrong, Cody?
I'm allergic to cats.
What?
I'm allergic to cats.
You're allergic to cats?
Yeah.
Just a nerd, dude.
Yeah.
Not allergic.
I can't breathe.
But in SML movie Jeffy's cat throw up, we literally see him hold a cat for the entire video, which makes no sense at all. And if you aren't convinced yet, then just take a look at SML movie Cody the Vampire, where he literally states he was born without a reflection because it's one of his medical disorders. But in every other video, we see him with one. Even in videos before this, like Bowser Jr.'s Bad Luck.
Guys, it's kind of embarrassing to say this, but I was born without a reflection.
You were born without a reflection.
That's not even it though, because in the very same video, he says he's allergic to garlic.
It's just pasta with garlic. Eat up, garlic. Ugh, I hate garlic.
Joseph, did you hear that?
Yeah, dude, he said he hate garlic.
He's a vampire.
Oh, he has to be.
Cody, you're a vampire. You don't like garlic.
And he refuses to eat his food. But literally just 1 year later in Chef Pee-Pee's restaurant, he eats the exact same meal with garlic blatantly plastered right on it. It's quite literally to the point now where 99% of Cody's medical disorders are completely gone. Like the disorder where he breathes really weird disappearing within like 5 videos of him being introduced. And now, in modern SML, he's just a normal kid, and the only problem he has is being a nerd with glasses. He used to take a lot of medicine as well. Like, bro was draining the pharmacy with how much prescriptions he had, and nowadays, he doesn't take any medication at all. It's like he's just magically cured from everything once he turned into a puppet. But whatever happened to Brooklyn Guy's brothers? And why are they so inconsistent? We learn in SML movie The New House that Brooklyn Guy has hundreds upon hundreds of brothers, like Plane Crash Guy, San Francisco Guy, Miami Guy, and he literally has a brother named after almost every city in the world. Oh yeah, and don't forget Frank.
My name is Brooklyn Guy. This guy is my brother.
What guy?
No, what guy is my other brother? I got this guy, what guy, the guy, a guy. I also got a Chicago guy, Manhattan guy. It just goes on.
San Francisco guy?
Yeah, San Francisco guy. And
Miami guy?
Yeah, Miami guy and Frank.
What, Frank guy?
No, just Frank.
There's even Does Bad Things Guy and Does Good Things Guy, which we learn about in SML movie The Secret Door. However, nowadays we never hear about any of these, and we only ever hear about Jonathan, and Brooklyn Guy acts like this is his only brother. Another thing is that if these people are actually his brothers, then they would all have to come from the same mother or father, which is quite literally impossible if he has hundreds of brothers. Like, I know Babs gets around, but it's impossible to get around that much. There's also Dr. Me, which is also another one of Brooklyn Guy's brothers, and he's a doctor who is literally just a clone of Brooklyn Guy, so I guess he has exact replica clones of himself that just go around doing other jobs. I don't know, this is so confusing.
What's going on?
Oh, this is Dr. Me that I was telling you about? Yeah, we're twins.
I knew there was 2 of them!
And also, in SML movie The Secret Door, Brooklyn Guy tells us that Does Bad Things Guy replaced him for 7 months because he was his only identical twin. And if Does Bad Things Guy is pure evil, then why would he arrest Nancy and Jeffy's parents knowing that she's a threat to Mario and his family? Wouldn't that be exactly what he wanted? And you gotta think, why wouldn't he break her out of jail, or at least give her the tools to escape if she was really that evil? Does Bad Things Guy is a serial killer, and it really doesn't make sense for him to just wait for his victims to open the door. It would have made more sense if he just sabotaged Jeffy or Mario, or whoever he wanted to kill because he had so much trust with them. Being their doctor and police officer for years, he could have so easily just gave them a lethal drug or sabotaged them by killing him as a cop. But instead, he decided to wait on the off chance that one of them would open the door. Also, Does Bad Things Guy says he lived in the secret door, but if that's true, why do we see him when Jeffy opened the door in SML movie The Secret Door? And you can say he was probably just out there the whole time, but he keeps his outfits in the secret room, so he wouldn't have been able to go in there and get his outfit if it was in the room the whole time. This literally makes no sense. But you can't really talk about things making no sense without talking about Jeffy being dumb and smart at the same time. We've seen from the very beginning that Jeffy acts super dumb, doing things like bashing his head against the wall, throwing plates across the room, and generally just acting like a complete idiot. However, sometimes he can just randomly become super smart, like in SML movie Detective Jeffy, where he finds Clown's hair that the entire police team couldn't find, and setting up a sting operation to catch Screwball at a birthday party. And on top of that, it turns out that he's actually a really talented artist, because in SML movie Jeffy's Special Easter, he literally paints the Mona Lisa on an egg.
Jeffy!
What?
You painted the Mona Lisa on your egg?
Who's that?
You told me you painted it!
And if that's not enough evidence for you, just take a look at SML movie Jeffy's brain. Since when Mario put the final brain in, which is actually Jeffy's brain, he starts talking fluently in French and has a completely different accent. And if you didn't know, learning a new language is anything but easy. Jeffy couldn't have just done that in 5 minutes as a little joke. It takes years to learn a new language, and you have to study really hard to do that, which is almost impossible knowing Jeffy.
Oh man, I'm so glad to have the original Jeffy back.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Jean-Pierre François.
Ooh, I like his voice, Mario. It's dreamy.
Oh, but it's not Jeffy's voice. That's not Jeffy's brain. Wait. There's no more brains left. Where's Jeffy's brain?
I like this Jeffy, Mario. His voice is hot.
He also has really good skills when it comes to being athletic too. Like in SML movie Jeffy Plays Soccer, where he runs up and down the pitch endlessly without getting tired, and he wins the game for all of his team. This isn't even the only thing though, because he's also an amazing fighter. And I'm not talking about all the times he beat up Bully, which is also a good point, but an even better one is him knocking out an undefeated boxer in SML movie Jeffy the Boxer. And this isn't even it though, because in the same video, Jeffy ends up knocking over 50 other SML characters, and then he turns to the camera and punches it, and since this video has 53 million views, it means that he knocked out 53 million people. However, believe it or not, he also has other insane skills. Despite taking a driver's test in SML movie Jeffy's driver's license and failing miserably, in SML movie Jeffy's speeding ticket, he drives like he's been driving for 20 years. We see this so many more times, like in SML movie Jeffy's Joyride, where he somehow just instantly knows how to drive his supercar. Now, you may think because he knows how to drive like this, he should have a driver's license, right? Well, wrong, because he never even got his driver's license or learned how to drive. So it doesn't even make sense that he's still allowed on the road, because eventually a cop would have pulled him over because he likes to speed. And when they realized that Jeffy doesn't have a driver's license, he would have been banned from driving forever. And this leads me to the theory that Jeffy is actually really smart and just acts dumb. Because in SML movie Smart Jeffy, he becomes really smart by getting his pencil shoved further up his nose, which seems to activate something in his brain. And even though he answers some of the hardest questions in human history, he becomes dumb again when he sneezes out his pencil. But this makes no sense because the hole in his brain would still be there, just without the pencil being in it, which literally wouldn't make any difference. So what if the entire time Jeffy is actually the smartest person in the world, but he's just acting like his old self because he doesn't want people to treat him differently?
Piece of cake. The answer is quite simple. In quantum mechanics, the uncertainty principle, also known as Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, is any of a variety of such as position x and momentum P can be known.
But whatever happened to Joseph's red shell that gave him the ability to fly? If you didn't know, before SML got the cease and desist letter, they uploaded a video called Joseph's New Shell, where Joseph broke his classic green shell trying to do a dangerous skateboard trick. And after this, he sold his soul to the devil to get a new one, which actually allowed him to fly. And this ended up being a permanent change until they got the cease and desist letter and everyone turned into a puppet. And this is when Joseph just randomly turned green and completely forgot about his ability to fly for some reason.
Joseph, are you okay?
Oh no, my bag!
And what makes this even crazier is they changed the thumbnail on the original video to say Joseph's new shirt, and even shows the Joseph puppet wearing pink, just like he was in his plushie form. So why isn't Joseph pink nowadays? Well, I think the most likely thing that happened is they already had a green Joseph designed, and they couldn't be bothered to make a new one, so they just used the one they already had. But we still can't know for sure if Joseph's mom is dead or alive, because in SML movie Joseph's House, we learned that Joseph's mom actually died passing out candy on Halloween night of 2015. And this would be okay by itself, but here's where things get confusing, because in SML movie The Past Machine, he brings his mother back from the dead using one of Cody's inventions. And the reason this doesn't make sense is because later in a video called Joseph's Mom, we learn Joseph's mom has been faking her death this entire time. And this isn't even the biggest thing though, because in SML movie Joseph the Millionaire, we see his mom actually bought him a massive mansion, and she actually didn't leave him, which is one of the biggest plot holes we've ever seen in modern SML. But by far the biggest plot hole I could find is you watching this entire video and not being subscribed. Yeah, you ain't slick. Come on, subscribe. Please, subscribe. Please, I'm begging. Please, please.